When someone says PayPal, what do you think of? A crazy successful business, right? But did you know that PayPal started out struggling to find its identity? Let me explain. The first version of PayPal was invented in 1998 by Max Levchin and Peter Thiel. But back then, PayPal wasn't a money transfer system like it is today. Instead, PayPal was a way to securely beam money between two Palm Pilots. So why did they create PayPal? Well, Max Levchin and Peter Thiel's original business was a company called Confinity. The core idea was simple. Instead of relying on risky or inconvenient methods like mailing checks or handing over cash in person, people could use Confinity's software to send money instantly and safely over the internet. This was years before cryptocurrencies or other modern digital payment systems. So Confinity represented one of the earliest and most influential steps in bringing financial transactions into the digital age. And this is where the Palm Pilot comes in. Because their system was designed to work with a Palm Pilot, which was a popular electronic organizer. Sort of like an Amazon Kindle, but just for calendars, notes, and contacts. Confinity's system made it possible for two people with Palm Pilots to electronically send money from one device to the other. So, if you owed someone $50, you could send the money without having to meet up in person. But there was just one problem. Over time, they realized that almost none of their customers were actually using Confinity's system to pay each other. They'd sign up because they thought the idea was cool, but they never had to make any real payments, so they soon forgot about it. However, a different group of people were starting to use the system more and more: eBay users. You see, eBay is an online auction site. You'd bid on something, and if you won, you had to pay the person who sold it to you. But eBay didn't offer a way to make the payment on their site. So, after you won your auction, you'd have to work out how to pay them. Well, for years, eBay users had no good way to do this. But then, some of them discovered Confinity's system, because it was exactly what they needed: a quick, easy, and secure way to transfer money between each other. Every time this happened, Max and Peter would get transactional fees. So, they realized that this was a better use for their system than their original vision. In fact, it was so much better that they decided to pivot their business. They completely dropped their original idea and started marketing their system as a way for eBay users to pay each other. However, PayPal wasn't the only player in this little niche. Because eBay had become very popular, other companies were starting to create systems of their own that let eBay users transfer money. So, Max and Peter's Confinity and one of their competitors, a startup called X.com, were having a big battle for market share. And this brings us on to the next reason why PayPal is successful today: Elon Musk. This is because, in 1999, Elon Musk founded X.com, and then, in 2000, X.com merged with Confinity, and Elon became CEO. At the time, X.com was an online bank. But when Elon took over, his aim was to make X.com the world's top payments platform. So, when the opportunity came to merge with Confinity and get their technology, Elon jumped at it. However, soon after the merger, it became clear that Confinity's payment system was what everyone actually wanted, not the online bank. So, the company decided to rebrand as PayPal and switch all focus to just that product. But yet again, they faced a problem. Elon had only just merged with Confinity to create PayPal, but then, less than a year later, the board of directors replaced him as CEO. There were disagreements over the company's direction and technology infrastructure. So, Elon was out of the company before he had even really started. But even though he was gone, the rest of the team continued to build on the work he'd done. And over the next 4 years, PayPal finally started to take off. The second reason PayPal became successful was its marketing. Because in the beginning, PayPal wasn't well known at all. But here's what they did to get more customers fast. They'd pay $10 to anyone who signed up for their service. Plus, whenever you referred someone else, you'd get $10 as well. Now, they could only do this because they were backed by millions of dollars in funding. But either way, this was a genius marketing tactic. Because, by offering the incentive, they made sure that everyone started to hear about PayPal. Before long, they had tens of thousands of users, and this was just the start. However, regardless of how many users they got, they still had one big issue: The whole reason eBay users were going to their site was so that they could pay the person they bought something from. But most of the time, the seller would want to be paid in cash, not using PayPal. So PayPal was growing rapidly. But they knew they had to find a way to monetize their platform. That's when, in 2002, they made the decision to focus less on payments between eBay users and more as an alternative to cash. In fact, that leads us on to the third reason why PayPal became so successful. Timing. Because the whole point of PayPal was that it was supposedly more convenient and more secure than cash. So, for example, instead of paying for something with cash, you could just pay electronically using PayPal. And this is why 2002 marked the turning point for PayPal. You see, in 2002, e-commerce continued to grow rapidly, and online transactions became more common and accepted. Plus, also in 2002, in another twist of timing, eBay actually bought PayPal. This meant that the PayPal CEO joined the eBay board of directors. So, they could tell all eBay sellers, you know it's safer to pay with PayPal than with cash. And if you want to keep selling on eBay, you actually have to start accepting PayPal as your payment. So, all of this made PayPal the most convenient way to pay for anything on eBay. Before long, customer numbers started skyrocketing. And then, after a few years, as eBay sellers saw the benefits of PayPal, they started using it even for transactions that had nothing to do with eBay. Basically, PayPal had become so popular through eBay that, by the time they separated from eBay again, it was now a household name. And this is how Max Levchin and Peter Thiel's idea ended up becoming PayPal as we know it today. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe.